Have you ever stopped to wonder if the life you're supposed to want is the life you actually want? We grow up with this invisible script, a story handed down through generations, movies, family gatherings. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby and the golden carriage, and somewhere in there, you're supposed to snag the keys to a house with a neat little lawn. It's the so-called American dream, a reliable, comforting path. But for a growing number of millennials, born roughly between 1981 and 1996, that script feels less like a dream and more like a set of instructions for a life that doesn't quite fit. They're consciously and often happily opting out. This isn't a story of failure or disillusionment, not entirely. It's a story of reevaluation. Let's talk about money, but this time, let's look at the UK. You can't understand this shift without the economic pressures facing British millennials today. The dream of owning a home on a single income feels out of reach for most, almost a relic of the past. For many, even two incomes aren't enough to afford a mortgage in cities like London or Manchester. According to the Resolution Foundation, UK house prices have risen over 160% since the mid-1990s, while wages have barely kept up. Tuition fees in England are among the highest in the world, leaving graduates with record levels of student debt. The cost of living, from rent to transport to healthcare, continues to climb. Meanwhile, real wages have stagnated for over a decade, making it harder to get ahead. The math simply doesn't add up for many young people. Buying a home in London or Edinburgh often requires a deposit that feels more like a lottery win than a savings goal. Parenthood is another financial hurdle. The average cost to raise a child in the UK is now over £150,000. Childcare alone can cost more than a mortgage in some parts of the country. It's not that millennials in Britain don't want families. They want to provide for them without sacrificing stability. These challenges aren't unique to the UK. Millennials around the world face similar struggles, from New York to Sydney. But here, the numbers tell a clear story. The old script just doesn't fit the new reality. Beyond the financial constraints, there's a deeper, more personal revolution at play. Millennials are the first generation to have the entirety of their adult lives documented and broadcast on social media. This has created a paradoxical effect. On one hand, it fuels comparison and anxiety, but on the other, it has exposed them to an infinite variety of lifestyles. They see friends living in vans and traveling the country, colleagues leaving corporate jobs to start passion projects, and influencers building lives that look nothing like the traditional script. This exposure normalizes alternative paths. This generation is also deeply invested in personal growth and mental health. The stigma around therapy is fading. At its core, this is about a quest for authenticity. They are ditching traditions not out of spite. As millennials opt out of the traditional institutions of marriage and homeownership, they aren't becoming isolated loners. Instead, they're redefining and reinforcing a different kind of institution, friendship. For many, close friends have become their primary family, a chosen support system that's just as, if not more, important than romantic partners or biological relatives. Celebrate holidays together, help each other move, provide emotional support during crises. This shift is also changing the physical landscape of our communities. The decline in nuclear family formation and the rise of single-person households means there's a greater demand for vibrant, walkable urban centers over sprawling, car-dependent suburbs. Millennials want to live where they can be close to their friends, their jobs, and third places like coffee shops, bars, and co-working spaces. While often blamed for social isolation, technology has also enabled connections that transcend geography. Niche online forums, Discord servers for shared hobbies, and sprawling group chats allow people to find their tribe, no matter how specific their interests. We are living through a massive collective reimagining of what it means to live a good life. They're no longer the required cornerstones of adulthood, but are now part of a much larger menu of life choices, pursuing a creative passion, building a business, living a nomadic life. This shift challenges all of us, regardless of our generation, to look inward. The absence of a clear path means we each have to become our own mapmaker. This isn't about one way of life being better than another. A life in the suburbs with a spouse and 2.5 kids can be just as fulfilling and authentic as a life spent backpacking through Southeast Asia, but in the freedom to make them. What does a successful, fulfilling, and authentic life look like for you? There is no single correct answer. Think about it, talk about it, and then go live it. If this resonated with you, please like, follow, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content about modern life.